Sean Diddy Combs, the man who once ruled the charts and partied with the elite, now finds himself entangled in a far less glamorous story, one filled with accusations, lawsuits, and locked doors. You've probably heard the headlines about his criminal charges, but there's a lot more going on beneath the surface. Diddy is no stranger to the limelight, but his recent legal saga has shown a much harsher light on him than his usual celebrity antics. The charges against him are a disturbing reminder of how fame and power can sometimes shield dark behaviors from the public eye, until they can't anymore. What's the deal? Racketeering, sex crimes, and horrifying misconduct allegations at the infamous he once proudly threw. It all started coming to a head in 2024 when a federal case was filed in Manhattan's court alleging that Diddy had orchestrated not just wild parties, but shindigs filled with coercion, violence, and sex trafficking. His ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, was one of the first to publicly step forward, igniting a cascade of lawsuits and accusations that spanned back several years. Cassie claimed Diddy forced her into various illegal and immoral activities during their relationship, leading to a lawsuit that was eventually settled, though the details were kept quiet. But this wasn't just a one-off. It opened the floodgates for other individuals to come forward with their own disturbing stories. In total, Diddy has faced numerous allegations of sexual misconduct and violence, with claims that he hosted parties where drugs and coercion were the main course. Attendees at these gatherings have accused him of using his influence to manipulate and force women into unspeakable situations. This isn't just about an out-of-control party scene. Diddy's behavior, according to the accusations, was systematic and predatory. One of the most shocking elements of the charges revolves around what has been described as freak-offs, events where Diddy allegedly used his power to force women into compromising situations. Reports suggest these parties weren't just social gatherings, but orchestrated scenes of manipulation, with women drugged and coerced into performing acts that were recorded without their consent. The indictment that dropped in September 2024 spans a chilling 14 pages, painting a picture of a man who believed his celebrity status granted him the ability to get away with just about anything. The allegations don't just tarnish his legacy, they bring into question the very culture of his empire. Let's talk about the racketeering charge. This isn't something you hear in celebrity cases all too often, but Diddy's situation is different. Racketeering, typically used to describe organized crime, points to the systemic nature of his alleged misconduct. It suggests that his parties, his lifestyle, were part of a larger, well-oiled operation that funneled power, wealth, and control directly into his hands, at the cost of his victims. The accusations of racketeering add an even darker undertone to the entire scandal, painting Diddy not just as an individual predator, but as the ringleader of a coordinated effort to exploit and harm others for his own benefit. Diddy's legal woes are stacked high, with multiple lawsuits filed in New York under the Adult Survivors Act. This law, which gives victims a chance to file civil claims long after the statute of limitations is passed, has been instrumental in allowing individuals to seek justice against him. While some cases have been settled, like Cassie's, the sheer number of allegations makes it clear that Diddy's days of evading accountability may be numbered. Diddy's celebrity status heavily played into the scope of the allegations. His fame wasn't just a shield, it was a weapon. He used it to control, intimidate, and silence those who might expose him. The luxurious lifestyle, the exclusive parties, the allure of being part of Diddy's circle, all of it served to blind people to the reality of what was happening behind closed doors. This isn't just about a fall from grace. It's about the realization that for years, Diddy may have used his status to facilitate and hide a pattern of abuse. As his legal battles continue, Diddy faces the very real possibility of spending a long time behind bars. The severity of the crimes he's been accused of, not to mention the weight of evidence against him, suggests that the consequences could be as monumental as the empire he built. From the heights of his music career to the depths of these charges, one thing is clear. Diddy's world has changed, and not for the better. It all began in September 2024, when the case against him was filed in Manhattan federal court. Facing multiple charges ranging from racketeering to sex crimes, Diddy quickly became the focus of one of the most high-profile legal battles in recent memory. Prosecutors wasted no time laying out their evidence, alleging a pattern of coercion, manipulation, and exploitation that spanned years. From the infamous freak-off parties to personal accounts from victims, the weight of accusations piled up rapidly. Despite the mounting evidence, Diddy's legal team came out swinging. His lawyers, Mark Agnifilo and Tini R. Geragos, put forth a robust defense, repeatedly attempting to secure bail for their client. They cited Diddy's celebrity status and massive wealth, arguing that keeping him in the notorious Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn was not only unnecessary but dangerous. The conditions at MDC, his team claimed, would be horrific and unsuitable for someone awaiting trial, especially a figure as famous as Diddy, who could be targeted due to his high profile. Despite these appeals, the court was unmoved. Judges reviewing the case highlighted key concerns that blocked Diddy's release. First, the nature of the charges was so severe that releasing him posed too great a risk. Second, prosecutors successfully argued that Diddy's wealth and access to international resources made him a flight risk, citing his ability to flee the country if granted bail. With a $48 million mansion in Miami Beach and multiple private planes, the fear that he could simply vanish was not an abstract one. His bail was denied more than once, each time reinforcing the message that Diddy wouldn't be going anywhere soon. The prosecution's approach has been unrelenting. They've framed Diddy not just as a celebrity gone wrong, but as someone who deliberately abused his fame to build a twisted network of exploitation. The racketeering charge, often associated with organized crime, speaks volumes about how seriously the government is treating this case. By portraying him as the ringleader of a coordinated operation, prosecutors are pulling no punches. Their goal is clear: to hold Diddy accountable for every aspect of his alleged crimes, from the private parties to the systematic abuse of power. Meanwhile, Diddy's defense team continues to fight. While their arguments for bail have been unsuccessful so far, they focused on discrediting the character of the accusers and questioning the validity of some of the more salacious claims. However, with the case still in its early stages and new allegations surfacing almost weekly, it's becoming increasingly difficult for Diddy's team to maintain the upper hand. As the trial looms, it's not looking good for Diddy. The Metropolitan Detention Center is notorious for its brutal conditions. Located in an industrial part of Brooklyn's waterfront, MDC is anything but luxurious. And yet, Diddy now calls it home, at least until his trial concludes. MDC Brooklyn, opened in the early 1990s, serves as a federal administrative detention facility for those awaiting trial or serving short sentences. It houses approximately 1,200 inmates, though its numbers have fluctuated over the years. The facility's notoriety isn't just a result of overcrowding or harsh conditions. Its inmate roster has included some of the most high-profile prisoners in recent memory. R. Kelly spent time there while facing charges of sexual abuse. Ghislaine Maxwell, infamous for her involvement in Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking ring, also endured MDC's harsh environment. And more recently, cryptocurrency kingpin Sam Bankman-Fried found himself behind the same walls. Now Diddy joins their ranks. So what makes MDC Brooklyn so feared? For starters, it's overcrowded to a fault. Cells designed for one or two people often end up holding more, and this isn't just uncomfortable, it's dangerous. The lack of space creates tension and tempers flare up easily. Reports of fights breaking out are common, and the overburdened staff struggle to maintain control. Medical care is another major issue. Inmates often have limited access to health care, and those who are sick or injured are forced to wait for treatment, sometimes for far too long. It's a system that feels broken from the inside out, and Diddy's legal team has been quick to call it out. Diddy's lawyers have painted a grim picture of his time at MDC, arguing that the facility is far from suitable for someone like him. As a high-profile inmate, Diddy faces unique challenges. His celebrity status makes him an easy target for other inmates looking to make a name for themselves. Whether it's extortion, physical threats, or worse, his legal team argues that his life could be at risk behind bars. According to them, Diddy has already spent most of his time isolated in his cell for up to 23 hours a day, a measure likely taken to keep him safe, but which undoubtedly takes its toll. But this isn't just about personal safety. The conditions at MDC make it nearly impossible for Diddy to prepare adequately for his defense. His lawyers argue that the overcrowding, combined with inadequate access to legal resources and poor living conditions, severely hampers his ability to mount a proper defense. And they're not the only ones raising these concerns. In fact, some judges have refused to send certain defendants to MDC, citing the facility's deteriorating conditions as inhumane. MDC Brooklyn has long been criticized for its handling of inmates, particularly those with a high profile. Ghislaine Maxwell's legal team made similar arguments during her detention, highlighting how constant surveillance and harsh conditions left her physically and mentally drained. R. Kelly's time at MDC was also marked by claims of inadequate care and isolation, leading his team to argue that his basic human rights were being violated. Yeah, right. Basic human rights for convicts? Despite these issues, MDC remains the only federal detention center in New York City, meaning that for now, Diddy is stuck. His legal team has tried multiple times to get him released on bail, citing these dangerous conditions as a key reason, but so far judges have been unmoved. The severity of the charges against him, combined with his wealth and resources, make Diddy too much of a flight risk in the court's eyes. This situation brings the spotlight not only on Diddy's legal woes, but also on the broader security aspects of MDC Brooklyn. While the center is infamous for its overcrowding, violence, and inadequate staffing, successful escapes from the facility are extremely rare. The prison's security measures, despite being underfunded and understaffed, are effective enough to prevent any major breaches. MDC has housed countless convicts with zero successful escape attempts, which gives a sense of just how difficult it is to break out. As Diddy remains incarcerated at MDC Brooklyn, questions about security at the notorious facility inevitably arise. While the center has a reputation for overcrowding, violence, and inadequate staffing, successful escapes from the facility are extremely rare. The prison's security measures, despite being underfunded and understaffed, are effective enough to prevent any breaches. Yet rumors recently surfaced online claiming that Diddy had managed to escape the facility, with some even falsely suggesting that the FBI had confirmed it. The story gained momentum, sparking widespread speculation and causing quite a stir. These claims were reportedly debunked. Diddy remains behind bars at MDC Brooklyn awaiting trial, with no credible reports of any prison break. It appears that the rumor was nothing more than a sensationalized piece of misinformation designed to capitalize on the drama surrounding his legal troubles. Despite these unfounded rumors, the reality of Diddy's situation remains grim. His legal battles are ongoing, and the seriousness of the charges against him cannot be overstated. While his legal team has fought tirelessly to secure his release on bail, the courts have been unwavering in their decisions to keep him locked up, citing his significant flight risk due to his wealth and global connections. Diddy's crimes are of such severity that no amount of online rumors can overshadow the gravity of the accusations. And that's it for this video. Diddy's legal saga continues, with serious charges keeping him at MDC Brooklyn, one of the most notorious detention centers in New York. Rumors falsely claimed that the FBI confirmed Diddy's escape, but this was quickly debunked. He remains behind bars. So what do you think? Is the MDC really the best prison for Diddy? Sound off in the comments. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe with the bell icon for updates.